Have you ever wondered why Geometry Dash is still alive and still so popular after all these years? This is the story of Geometry Dash. Chapter 1. Other mobile games. Back in 2013, mobile gaming looked completely different. Games like Angry Birds, Temple Run, Subway Surfers, and Candy Crush Saga were everywhere. Most mobile games were simple, easy, and designed to be played for a few minutes at a time. Then a developer known as Robert Topola released Geometry Dash. At first, it looked tiny compared to other games, a cube jumping over spikes while music played in the background. But Geometry Dash was different. It was brutally difficult, players failed over and over again, but instead of quitting forever, many became addicted to improving. Most mobile games slowly faded away after a few years. Geometry Dash didn't. Chapter 2. The Level Editor. The biggest reason Geometry Dash survived was the level editor. The editor allowed players to create their own levels using blocks, portals, spikes, triggers, music, and effects. At first, custom levels were simple and messy, but creators slowly started learning how to push the editor beyond its limits. Soon people weren't just making levels, they were making art. Some creators built beautiful cinematic experiences, others created funny levels, boss fights, or even horror levels. Geometry Dash slowly became more than a rhythm game. It became a platform for creativity, and over time, creators started making levels that barely even looked like Geometry Dash anymore. Chapter 3. Update 2.2. But then came one of the biggest jokes in gaming history. Update 2.2. After Update 2.1 released, the community waited years for the next update. At first, players stayed patient, but eventually memes started appearing everywhere. 2.2. When? People joked that the update would never release. Some players genuinely believed the game was dying. Entire YouTube videos were made about the wait, but somehow, even without updates, the community stayed alive. Creators kept building levels, players kept improving, and Geometry Dash survived one of the longest waits in gaming history. Chapter 4. Chilled. Level difficulties. One of the biggest parts of Geometry Dash is difficulty. At first, players struggled with official levels like Club Step and Theory of Everything 2, but over time the community pushed the limits further and further. Soon came demon levels, then extreme demons, then levels that looked impossible for humans to beat. Levels like Bloodbath, Sonic Wave, Tartarus, Slaughterhouse, and Acheron became legendary. Players spent months or even years trying to beat them. Some levels required hundreds of thousands of attempts. Geometry Dash slowly became known as one of the hardest games ever. Chapter 5. Icons. But something else made Geometry Dash special. Icons. Players became obsessed with unlocking cubes, ships, waves, robots, and UFOs. Some icons became legendary in the community. Players used icons to show skill, personality, or status. Even today, people instantly recognize famous icon sets from top players and YouTubers. A simple cube became part of people's identity online. Chapter 6. What changed? Geometry Dash forever. One level changed Geometry Dash forever. Bloodbath. Verified by Riot, Bloodbath completely transformed the community. It became one of the most famous extreme demons ever made. Suddenly, Geometry Dash completions became huge events. Players uploaded reaction videos, streams, and montages that gained millions of views. Top players became celebrities inside the community. And after Bloodbath, players wanted to push the limits even further. Chapter 7. The bad side of Geometry Dash. But Geometry Dash also has a dark side. The game has dealt with hacking scandals, fake completions, account stealing, and massive arguments over difficulty ratings. Some players were exposed for cheating after spending months pretending their completions were real. Other players received hateful opinions about level placements or ratings. And because the game is so competitive, some players pushed themselves too hard, trying to beat impossible levels. Geometry Dash can be fun, but sometimes the community becomes extremely toxic. Chapter 8: Why it kinda sucks to be RobTop. Many players joke about RobTop, but honestly, being RobTop probably isn't easy. Every update gets massive pressure from the community. Whenever something goes wrong, people blame him instantly. Players constantly spam comments asking for updates, ratings, fixes, and new features. And because Geometry Dash became so huge, millions of players expect RobTop to somehow satisfy everyone at once. The community loves Geometry Dash. But that also means the pressure on RobTop became massive. Chapter 9: Drama. Geometry Dash has had endless drama over the years. Arguments about demon list placements, arguments about hacked completions, arguments about level ratings, arguments about whether certain levels should even exist. Sometimes entire wars started over a single completion video. And then came a new generation of players like Zoink, who pushed the limits of human skill even further. Every time players think the skill ceiling has been reached, someone breaks it again. Chapter 10: Why Geometry Dash will never fall. Most games eventually disappear, but Geometry Dash survived for over a decade. And the reason is simple: the community creates the content. Even if official updates take years, creators continue building levels, players continue grinding demons, YouTubers continue uploading videos, artists continue making music and designs. Geometry Dash constantly reinvents itself. Every year, the game evolves into something bigger than before. What started as a simple cube jumping over spikes became one of the most creative gaming communities ever created. And somehow, after all these years, Geometry Dash still refuses to die. Chapter 11: The OG Pros. Before Geometry Dash had millions of players, there were a few people who helped shape the entire community forever. One of the earliest legendary players was Riot. Riot became famous after verifying Bloodbath, one of the most important levels in Geometry Dash history. At the time, many players thought the level was nearly impossible. Then there was Cyclic, one of the most well-known early top players. Cyclic became famous for beating extremely difficult levels and helping push the limits of skill during the early days of the Demon List. Another important player was Sunix. Sunix shocked the community with his incredible wave skill and became famous after making huge progress on levels people thought were impossible. Then came Technical, who became known for completing insane extreme demons and uploading some of the most iconic completion videos in the community. And of course, Npesta became one of the most recognizable faces in Geometry Dash history because of his reactions, streams, and famous completions. These players helped turn Geometry Dash from a small mobile game into a real competitive community. They inspired thousands of players to improve, grind demons, and attempt levels that once looked impossible. Without the OG pros, Geometry Dash probably wouldn't be what it is today. The end, guys. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. Bye.